Adventures of Lolo 2 is the sequel to the original Adventures of Lolo, and as far as gameplay goes, not a single thing has changed. This is no exaggeration for journalistic effect. The gameplay engine is the exact same one from the original Lolo. That's okay though, because there is no need to improve upon the way the original handled. It was perfect last time, and it's still perfect now. Once again, your main squeeze, Lala, has been put into danger. She's been kidnapped by the evil King Egger and taken atop a deadly tower you'll need to make your way through. With 50 new rooms, you'll have your work cut out for you. While the storyline still takes a backseat to the gameplay, just as in the first, the slightly increased cinematic feel at the beginning and towards the end do help to complete the experience. If you see my review for the first Adventures of Lolo, you should already know what you're in for. Lolo is an interesting puzzle game in that it shows you exactly everything you have to work with. The mechanics are easy to understand, and it's possible to think out precisely how everything will interact by just studying the board in the beginning. With this, many interesting challenges are presented with some very unique situations, considering the limited number of possible blocks and enemies that can fill any particular room. Lolo impressively resists the urge to go overboard and overwhelming you with too many possible options in terrain and possibilities. It is simple, yet concise. It is a work of genius. Lolo 2 welcomingly increases the difficulty another notch higher. The reason why the original Lolo escaped from having a perfect score is essentially due to the lack of challenge. It is only within the last few floors did anything get particularly tricky. The majority of the puzzles centered around solving a single trick, where if you managed to figure out how to deal with one single enemy, the rest of the stage would pretty much just fall into place. While the beginning of Lolo 2 is similar in that it starts off extremely easy as well, it gets more difficult much more quickly. In Lolo 2, even if you manage to solve one particular problem in a stage, there are usually many more that you'll need to deal with. The game does not just solve itself by mindlessly pushing blocks around and in front of enemies and hoping for the best. The design has been heavily improved. Adventures of Lolo 2 is an extremely good game with very few flaws. Similar to the first Lolo, it does not feel held back at all by the graphics. They convey everything they need to, and you can easily become absorbed into the experience. The level design is brilliant with a lot of variety and different sorts of challenges. As a classic NES game, Lolo 2 has been heavily looked over, but I personally consider it a puzzle game masterpiece. I give Adventures of Lolo 2 on the NES a 10 out of 10.